So, welcome to the November 2025 SHARP information session, where we invite speakers to offer information about resources, services, and tools to help English-speaking older adults to age in the right place. My name is Erica Botner. I'm the program manager for seniors and for the SHARP program at CHSSN. I'll be your facilitator for today's session. I want to thank all of our SHARP coordinators and the English-speaking community organizations and older adults who are here with us today. We have a really nice turnout. And if you have any questions about the presentation or the resources provided, please contact the organization or SHARP coordinator that invited you. Today we have one of our favorite guest speakers, Jennifer Hobbs, with us to discuss the several free confidential hotlines in Quebec that are available to help older adults living at home get timely advice and referrals. Throughout her career of 48 years, Jennifer has held a variety of positions in geriatrics, community health, nursing and health education, emergency care, occupational health, and with the Canadian Heart and Stroke Foundation as a master instructor in CPR. She holds a bachelor in community nursing from Concordia, an applied master's of science in epidemiology and biostatistics from McGill, and a postmaster's diploma in nursing education from Chapel Hill in North Carolina. She's a senior advisory for community health promotion programs at Jeffrey Hill Community Partners in Quebec City, and a surveyor for Accreditation Canada, both nationally and internationally, and also on the board of directors at CHSSN. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Jennifer, to take it from here.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Erica, as usual. And you know, these wonderful chats that we receive through SHARP on almost a 6-week or monthly basis are so helpful for seniors living at home, and to give a variety of information on how to help them stay at home or wherever home is for them and live well. And I'm very, very honored every time I am asked to give a little chat. I really do get excited. I just find it such a fun thing to prepare for. And this particular topic today, Health and Social Services Information Hotlines, is one that I've never given before. So I had wonderful time researching it and learning about them myself. I've worked with them all through my career, but it's a little different when you look at their mission statement and their values and what they're supposed to offer. And so I am thrilled to be able to share this new learning with you all. And I hope that you find it interesting. So let's just start now with what I hope to cover on this session. And so we're really going to talk about the free, confidential hotlines that helps us, older adults, live at home, and helps us to get timely, which means, not in 2 days, but on the spot, timely advice and referrals. I'm going to share information that I found about Info-Santé 811. And the interesting thing about this, which is you're going to learn, is that there are 2 options when you call that number. And we're really going to stress the importance of knowing those different options, even though they explain them on the phone. We also are going to spend some time on the 211 Community and Public Resources number, and they offer all sorts of help. It's just incredible. And all of these 3 numbers, 2 really, but 3 options, complement the 911, which we're all familiar with, but we're going to review today as well. So what would be the best dream for me at the end of the presentation? Your learning objectives is, number 1, understand who to call for help when. It's a little like the movie, Who You're Going to Call, Ghostbusters. Well, you really want to know who and what number to call. So we're going to distinguish and we're going to learn the difference between Info-Santé and Info-Social, even though they carry the same number. We really want to know what 211 offers and what it doesn't. And we're going to review the process of 911. I know you can never hear it enough, but when you have to dial that number, it is really a frightening thing. And so we're going to go step by step on what to do and what not to do with 911. The second one of learning objective is to know what services are available by phone. You're going to be able to discover the free confidential help day or night for health questions, emotional worries, or community support without leaving the comfort of your home, which is exactly what we want as we age. You want to develop some confidence by asking for help early. So you're not caught with your back up against the wall in an urgent situation. You want to have your information at the tip of your fingertips so you know how to navigate the health system. So by this presentation, I'm hoping that you will gain the confidence to use these hotlines to solve your problems before they become emergencies and to stay safe, healthy, and independent wherever you call home. We're going to start with 911. Now, 911, we all know, is for a medical emergency. And it serves to ensure quick assistance. You're right into the dispatch center. And I'm going to share a little story that I just lived maybe about 6 months ago. As Erica mentioned, I am very blessed to be able to do Accreditation Canada, which are peer review for health boards, health institutions, long-term care, assisted living, and we go in with a set of standards and we compare the organization's quality and safety measures against very highly placed standards, which are touted to be the best in the world, actually. So accreditation allows me to really see what's out there and compare it to some of the talks that I love to give. So I did have a chance to evaluate what we call pre-hospital care. That is the dispatch unit. That is where your 911 call comes in. So what typical dispatch centers look like, the other end of your phone call. It's this huge room with a whole bunch of screens, computer screens, and every dispatcher is manning about 3 or 4 computer screens in front of them. The first one is to receive your 911 call. And when you dial that 911 call, the dispatcher will ask you your problem in a very calm voice. They're taught that. That's part of their approach, to keep the person at the other end calm. Because when you're stressed, you blank out and you can't think straight. So they're very good at what they do. You describe the medical emergency that you are confronting or that you yourself are having. And at the beginning, they're going to say, do not hang up before we tell you to. So at the end of your discourse and your description of whatever it is, I'm suffering from chest pain, I've fallen and I'm really bleeding and I can't get up, or my husband has just, I don't know what's going on, but he's talking all mixed up and he can't lift up an arm, and they will just talk you through what to do. If somebody is on the floor unconscious, they're going to take you step by step. Do you know how to take a pulse? Do you know how to do CPR? No? Okay, find the middle of the chest and start pumping hard and keep pumping until I tell you to change. So they're going to take you step by step. They'll reassure you and say, an ambulance is on the way. We have your number, but don't hang up. We're going to validate your location. Is this the correct location? And then they just tippy-toed you through it. And it's all very, very calming. The beautiful thing about the operators working in 911 in the province of Quebec is that they are bilingual. So this makes emergency help accessible for all Quebec residents. You needn't be worried. And I can tell you from what I have seen, this is an extremely rapid response with excellent coordination to be able to dispatch an ambulance. Just a little tidbit though. I did ask, what is the average response time for an ambulance? Of course, it always depends on where the ambulances are dispatched from. It can be anywhere from 10 to 25 minutes. So this is the importance of having that person at the other end reassuring you and keeping you online and just being your guide by the side on your phone. So an excellent resource, taxpayers' money, it's going for good source. Now we're getting into something that it's been around for a bit, but it's starting to become much more well known. And I do have statistics, the ones that I could obtain at the end of the presentation that I hope you'll appreciate. But let's look at Info-Santé in itself. Info-Santé is 811. And when you dial 811, you'll be asked, English, French, whatever, and you press the button. Then you say you press which option you want. For health-related information, it is option 1. And it's called option 1 because it's usually more emergent, or there's a little bit of a time limit that you need to get information on. So option 1 on your phone is for health-related information. So let's see what they give you. First of all, it's free, always confidential. You can get it 24 hours on 7 days a week, which is just amazing. And they provide advice for non-urgent health problems. It allows you to speak directly with a licensed nurse for self-care advice or next steps. Some situations that people call for, and we're going to see the validation later because I did do some research on that. It's ideal for children with fever, adults with fever, medication questions. Oh my gosh, I just got a burn and I've got this little blister on my arm. What do I do? What do I do? Minor emergencies. Or I just got something in my eye and it's really, like bothering me. What do I do? Or any level of health concerns. I'm a diabetic and I've taken my pills this morning and I just don't feel right. And then they will look. What they have on the other side of the phone is this huge binder of every possible, well, it's computerized now, but every possible health challenge that you can imagine. And their algorithms, it's like a pathway. So when you say fever, are you an adult? Are you over 65? Click, click, and then the filter and the answers come through. So what's the beauty of that? Regardless of the nurse that's on the other end of the line, you're going to have standardized, best practice, up-to-date, not old wives' tale, but up-to-date scientific information for your health problem and health concern that you're asking about. So all you have to do is dial 811, press the language, and press option 1 for anything related to minor, non-urgent health problems. Still in 811, this is the option 2 button. You would press option 2 to get 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access to psychological or social professionals for emotional or practical issues. Some topics that people call in for and that they can offer services for are for stress management, anxiety, loneliness, grief, family, or caregiver concerns. It is free, it is confidential, and it's available province-wide. Now, some examples that people can call in for, they just don't know what to do. Take, for example, you're taking care of someone whom you love very much, either in your home or at a distance or whatever, and you really know that they're not doing well and they're starting to decline, whether it be in their memory, whether it be in their physicality, whether it be just general frailty and aging, and you just don't know how to navigate the system at all. Will you call 811, press option 2, get it in English, and they will be able to tippy-toe you through. You're going to call the CLSC. They may even look at the CLSC in your region. They're going to give you the number if you have a hard time navigating that. They're going to tell you what to say or who to ask for when you call the CLSC or the whatever clinic is going to be nearby your place if you're living in a rural area. And they just kind of take you by the hand in a very complicated and extremely difficult to navigate social service system that we live in right now. So it's an excellent resource, and don't be afraid to call these numbers. They are your tax dollars at work. You've paid all your life for taxes. Now it's your turn to reap the benefits. So please have confidence, which is another objective of this thing. You won't be bothering anybody. They're waiting for your call. That's what they're being paid for. And you're paying for their services. Never forget that. So for social and psychological, emotional, or even practical issues, dial 811 and press option 2. 211. It's not new, but for many of us, it is new. So, what the heck is 211 now? Well, think more community and social services information. And there is some duplication, but it doesn't matter. You can never get enough information. So, when you dial 211, which is available by phone again, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's also available on the web. But 211 will provide you information and referral to local community support systems. What does that mean? Well, you don't drive anymore, and bus service is minimal to non existent. And if it is available, well, you have difficulty getting to the bus, and you're really not able to afford Uber and all these different things. So 211 will help you navigate all of the amazing community services that are out there, that some of them are very little known. And they will help you to find some transport. They'll guide you to getting some meals, whether it be Meals on Wheels or a variety of different options to have them delivered to your home. If you can't wash your windows anymore, you're finding it just too much to do your housekeeping, they will help you there. You're having difficulty now with your income tax. You can't figure it out. It's just getting so complicated that you're kind of giving up. Well, they will tell you how, and if there's free services that can do that for you in your region. And also they're going to share some information on caregiver programs. Now, caregiver programs is a really important part of being able to stay happy, healthy, and as long as you can and wherever you call home. Because if you are taking care of someone in your home and it's becoming difficult, well, there are a number of caregiver programs that are exceptionally well run and so caring. They're just going to allow you to maintain that caregiving for longer if you have support. If you're alone, that's a really tough road. And you need people to be able to understand what you're going through, give you tips, share challenges, and share information that can make your life a lot easier. So 211 can help you to find these programs. They are all trained at 211 for these community supports. And if I can plug in a little example of what I found maybe not so long ago when I was doing an accreditation visit for home care. And one of the community services, and it was just outside this little New Brunswick town, they had people that would go, and community organization funded by a lot of different people, very much like how CHSSN works, and they do amazing work. And so one of the employees, her job was to just go to the Tim Hortons about once a week, Tim Hortons in the area, and the shopping center, the little shopping mall that was right outside the main road. And they would just go and sit, and they'd get to know the regulars that would come there that were senior and that seemed to be alone. And then when they felt like they were targeting the right audience, they would go and speak to these people on a one-to-one to share information about different community programs, such as, did you know that we've got a chat and coffee and cake get together once a week, and it's just down the street, and we'd love you to come? Or did you know that we have community dinners that we put on once a week, and you get to know some people that are living around you that probably share a lot of similar interests. And so they just share this information. So I really, really feel strongly about these wonderful community groups that exist. They give so many helpful tips and hints and great services. So let's learn about these different resources that are at your disposal for free by dialing 211. And it's available in English and French. We hear a lot about abuse, harassment, and it's always the vulnerable groups that are subjected to this, isn't it? Women who are alone at home and don't have any option and don't have anywhere to go if their husband is abusive. We hear about children who are abused, but we're talking about elders. And it takes a variety of faces. It can be through your own children, it can be through friends, it can be through the telephone. So, what is out there if you think, or you think that someone you love who is elder is being either neglected, abused, or it's just not going right? There's something off and somebody's doing something to this person. It's a province-wide elder mistreatment helpline. You have the phone number on the screen, and you will get it again in a little kind of refrigerator clip out that I've given for you at the end of the presentation. But La Ligne Maltraitance is available in English, and it offers support for elder abuse or neglect. If you think you're being abused or you're not quite sure, because some people are really, really good at doing this. They're passive aggressive. They make it seem like, oh my gosh, you don't do enough for me, and then you feel guilty. And there's so many different stories out there. They break your heart. But if you are armed with information to answer back and to be able to respond, this is what this mistreatment helpline does. It gives you confidential listening, it helps you to plan safely, and it'll refer you to local resources that you can really get the help you need. So remember this number here, and any time that you suspect either yourself or a friend who's elder is being abused, you give that number a call. And it's not a police hotline there. It's just to get information so that you're armed with information to be able to better control your situation or the situation that your loved one's in. I made reference earlier to Info-Santé 211. They do give a little bit of caregiver support, but there is Appui Info Aida caregiver support helpline that exists for adults, children, spouses, adult children, and friends who are really seeking advice on how to cope. Because, and I'm sure many of you who are watching today have friends, or even perhaps yourself, I hope not, but I have perhaps yourself, are caregiving for someone who is really not well or not strong. And you all know that the toll that it can take day after day, 24 hours, taking care of someone who has very specific needs can be extremely emotionally draining. It can be physically draining. And there comes a time where you start to not have so many coping skills, and you may lose patience, and you may get angry, and you may, do a whole bunch of things that are not really you. And this is normal. And we call that caregiver burnout. And it's a very, very common thing. So this caregiver support helpline is someone that can listen to you just at the other end of a phone. And it will give you advice and support and tips. It offers you emotional counseling. It'll tell you of a plethora of resources and referrals. There is, respite care. There are day centers. There are wellness centers that do accept some clients with, mild to perhaps moderate cognitive dementia. It really depends on where you live and what their services are. There are some wellness clinics as well out there that do, if they're not too advanced. This service, l'appui info-aidant or the caregiver support helpline, complements Info-Santé 211 for caregiver-specific needs. And I have a feeling if you call 211 and press option 2 for psychosocial support, one of the references that they're going to give you is this hotline. You have the phone number right there on the screen. It's open from Monday to Friday and from 8 to 6. You can call anytime. But you always have access to the 24/7 211 social option 2, any time of the day or night. But please use these supports that are at your fingertips. And I keep saying this, but I mean it. Tax dollars you've put into your plan. Now it's time to reap the benefits of those well invested tax dollars. Okay, I just want to reiterate. So you will call 911 for emergencies such as life-threatening stuff, or that needs to go to an ambulance in very shortly. Chest pain, that's the number one emergency that seniors face, or chest pressure. And if it's a risk for heart attack, that's a red carpet ride right into emergency. So you would call 911 for that for sure. If you're developing a new shortness of breath, which is not like you, or if you're asthmatic or emphysema or any of those types of breathing things and it's gotten much worse, you call 911. Because after chest pain, breathing is the next priority on an ambulance's list when they are dispatched. I know you've had health sessions in the past on recognizing the symptoms of a stroke. That would be a definite 911, because the beautiful thing about stroke research now is that if you can treat, depending on the type of stroke they're having, because there's two types, it can be caused by a clot in the brain or a hemorrhage in the brain. They will be able to tell the difference. And if your stroke is being caused by a clot, they have these beautiful medications now. I call them clot busters, Pac-Man kind of things. They inject it through your arm, and the little Pac-Man will go and it'll eat the clot in your brain that's stopping the circulation from really, really circulating around your brain and minimizes the damage. The things with strokes is that it's time sensitive. If you can as is chest pain, by the way, if you can kind of get treatment within the first 4 hours, it's really, really helpful. So if you're not sure, you call. If the ambulance comes, they check you over, they say, no, you're going to be okay. This was just a false alarm. So be it. That was just a little red flag. Don't feel afraid to call 911. If you do go to the hospital and they test you all over and say, everything is good, it's not a big emergency, we're going to be able to send you home, well, just thank your lucky stars and don't feel, oh, I should never have called and oh my gosh. No. Tax dollars, when you're unsure, best to be sure and come home safe. Any major bleeding, and that can be a variety of things in seniors. Yes, you can injure yourself, that's one. But if you're starting to notice either a lot of blood when you pee, a lot of blood when you poo, and your nose starts to bleed and you can't stop, it's a 911 situation, okay? And they'll take care of those things, but they can only do that in a hospital. If you live with someone who is becoming a danger to themselves or others, they're having some sort of a psychotic episode, you don't know what to do, you call 911 for these. If they are a danger to themselves, if they're threatening suicide, or they've attempted suicide, or if they're threatening others, 911. Now, 811, it's more for non-urgent health or social issues needing guidance, not immediate attention. It helps you to get the right care at the right time, but it's not time sensitive like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this right now. Okay? So both touch on health, but 811 also touches on social issues. But now I hope that you're very clear on the 911 call. So how do these hotlines help us to live more comfortably, more reassured, and more safely at home? Well, they provide easy access to professional help who are regularly trained to stay updated in the latest techniques and the latest science without you leaving your home. 2, they offer guidance and early intervention to help prevent crises that might arise, and you don't want to have to wait till the last minute. Another wonderful thing that they do is that they support caregivers and families with wonderful emotional and very practical help that you might not even have known exists. And they help to strengthen seniors' independence and safety in your home, because we all want to stay in wherever we call home as long as we can. And the more information we have to how to do that safely and well, to be able to enjoy our flowers and plants and our beautiful view wherever that may be, well then, let's get everything going for us and use those tax dollars, use the hotlines that are at your disposal. I prepared a little thing that I don't know if it's interesting for you, but you can always, I don't know how you can get this or take a screenshot or whatever, but maybe your community coordinator, your NPI group can cut it out for you or whatnot. But this is a summary. And if you keep this list near your fridge or phone, all services are free and confidential. So it just summarizes what each number is for. So you can just scroll down and say, okay, whoops, I need this, 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 and everything's right there at your fingertips with the phone numbers, what they're called, and what they do. So I hope that's useful for you. I just wanted to do a little research to make sure, because we are an English-speaking organization, SHARP really does promote healthy living and safe living in the home, and hopefully getting services in your language of choice. So I just gave a summary of what is available in English and in French, and all of them are, which is really wonderful. Your 811 Health, option 1. 811 option 2, psychosocial health, yes. And if the person that answers the phone, let's say on a Sunday, doesn't, there's a quick transfer if needed. There's always somebody on call. 211, yes, fully bilingual and website. The mistreatment helpline, counselors or interpreter services if available. Your caregiver support, bilingual. And there's a variety of resources available too. And specify, I'm English speaking, I speak both probably, but I really prefer to be served in English. Make sure that that's part of your mantra. It is part of our access program. We are entitled to receive this for health. And 911, as I've mentioned, absolutely bilingual across the province. I just wanted to give you a little bit of additional information. So I dug a little further into the research to see if what they say they do, is that what people are calling for? So there's certain statistics that you can get publicly online, and I've given all my references at the bottom, at the end of the presentation. So here's some info for you, okay? So let's take a look at Info-Santé option 1, that's health. So usually the call lasts, most people's telephone calls when they call last anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Most calls are for health symptoms, medication questions, little babos, and mostly a lot for navigation to say, who should I call? I need to do this. I need to start thinking of relocating my mom, etc. Well, very often it's navigating in the health system. I don't have a doctor and I don't want to go to Emerge all the time. So their mission statement really does mimic what the people call for. So that's really good. And what does the government take statistics on? Well, they take statistics on how many calls and the service time. They do not, however, take, not available to the public. I know they exist, but not to the public, how long it takes them to answer the phone. Info-Social 811, option 2. Why do people call? Well, variety, eh? Look at them. Stress, anxiety, loneliness, grief, caregiver strain. They track indicators like mental health events when the heat is too hot, like when it's a summer heat stroke. Also for poisoning, medication taken by mistake or too much medication or that type of thing. Typical length of the time that the people call and talk to the intervener, 15 to 20 minutes. The Ministry of Health indicator shows incoming calls and the trends that are going on an uptick. So more people are becoming aware of Info-Santé option 2, which is great because it is so complicated now that this is a good way to help people navigate the system. Our 211, what are people calling for? Food availability, shelters, housing, so sad. My gosh. Income, employment, where can I get a job? How can I apply? What do I do now? I used to read the newspaper, now there's no more. How can I get from A to B if I can't use a public transport system? Is there a system of volunteers that can bring me to my chemotherapy, etc.? So let's take a look at how long those phone calls took. Well, people stayed on the phone now in 2024, the last statistics, 7.46 minutes versus 4 minutes and 18 in 2019. So we're noticing perhaps what we're seeing is an increase in complexity of calls, which would reflect the complexity of our health system. April 23 to March 24, they had 34,638 people that called. That's a lot of people. So good. The Elder Mistreatment Helpline, again, exploitation, abuse, signals of neglect from children to their parents or friends, etc. And they were calling to find out about support and to be referred. What's happening is that the Minister of Health are expanding their program. And that's what they indicated in their 23-24 annual report. So it's getting bigger. The caregiver support line, again, emotional support, how to navigate the system to help the caregiver cope with the strain that they're living, taking care of a loved one. And the phone calls come in from spouses, children, and friends. And the annual reporting is only available online through code. And 911 emergency, you don't get statistics unless you really delve into that and get through the M.ScA, the ministry. So it's just giving you an idea that a lot of people are calling, a lot of people are using the system, but we could also, through talks like today, sensitize people that it's good to call. You needn't be afraid. And if you find that you're spending too much time on the phone, not really. Look, 15 to 20 minutes, that's a long phone call. So they're going to dig, even if you don't know how to say what's bothering you. They have been trained to get that information out of you through really targeted questioning, and you'll see it's like a dream. It really is. I always like to just give the references before we take a little health break there to stretch and come back, hopefully with some questions and answers. But these are the main references that I researched. And there's a lot of good stuff online. It's maybe a little tricky to navigate sometimes, but if ever you want to, there are some references for you.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you all. And thank you, Megan. Thank you, Erica, for your hospitality and your assistance always.
We're the ones that are supposed to be thanking you, really.
Oh,
So
no.
thank you for the time
Return,
and love that
return.
you
Yeah.
put into these sessions, and for all of the participants. I hope you learned something new, and maybe share it with someone that wasn't here as well, so that we can spread the word, and more people can know about these
And to
free.
use them. And
Absolutely.
they, yeah,
Yeah, and for everybody else, we take a break from Sharp in December. So I wish you all happy holidays now, and we'll be back again the third Wednesday of January for our next session.
wonderful. Thank you,
So thank
everybody.
you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and end of 2025.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.